Whoa! What happened?
That was spectacular.
That was abbreviated.
Let's try that again.
Good evening, Rick. Would you believe it's Dr. Doom? What's on your evil mind? Hold your insulting tongue and mark my words well. How about this rumor that you are really hired, Mr. Stark?
And welcome to another exciting episode of the KLIQ Nation's Comic Book Chronicles with the start and stop beginning.
And your video is not on.
Well, I am going to
for those watching the video,
figure this out at some point.
Yeah. For those watching the video, do not adjust your sets because I think that's just
That's just me not understanding how to work all this screen sharing business.
It's live recording, folks. Live recording.
It's the way it is. Here we go. So I'm closing this, closing that.
There we go.
I am. Yeah. The adoring crowds are back for another episode of the KLIQ Nation's Comic Book Chronicles. I am at Agent_70, and I'm pretty sure I hosted last week. Now that I remember, we were joking about me saying I was special guest co-hosting. So,
well, if that's the case, you ended too then, because as I recall, you did the ending.
Oh man, goodness gracious, carrying just carrying so many loads this week. Oh, it's terrible. So, this is the KLIQ Nation's Comic Book Chronicles. We're back for another week of comic books. Comic book news, comic book reviews, and comic book movie news. As I said earlier, I am your host for tonight at Agent_70. With me tonight is at Roddy Cat on Twitter.
Hi, folks.
Hey. Roddy Cat is joining us from
Heroes Con here in QC, Charlotte, North Carolina.
There you go.
Shout out to QC. Yeah, hotel Wi-Fi is actually doing good, and I just realized the noise I'm hearing is probably the people next door.
Let us not jinx it.
Well, yeah, because I didn't think there was a room like on the other side of this wall that I'm facing, but I guess there is, because I am hearing voices, and the TV is not up, even though it is in front of me.
Gotcha.
So anyway, we will power through all the.
We will. So maybe possibly joining us if he awakes from a well-earned slumber is at PCN_dirt on Twitter. And again, we are without our very own Tim Dog 98, who is now Tim Dad 98. Not on Twitter, just in real life. So he is on his Timbatical, and we wish him and his family well. So remember, you can find us on various media sites. I am at Agent_70 on Twitter and Instagram. Roddy Cat is at Roddy Cat and at News Nerds Need on Twitter. And he is running the CB Caps handle on Instagram at CB Caps.
Those are facts.
At PCN_dirt can be found at PCN_dirt on Twitter and at PopCultureNet on Twitter. And he runs the sites popculturenetwork.com and www.ineedcomics.com. And TimDog98 is still active online and writing, of course. He is at TimDog98 on Twitter and at the KLIQ Nation Twitter handles. He's also the at CVCron Twitter handle. And you can find his writings posted at thekliqnation.com. Remember to also find us if you want to watch our video live. It's thekliqnation.com/live. And finally, go ahead.
No, I was about to say, why am I coming in double? That, and I was going to say you could also find Dirt at the Ubisoft press conference from this past E3. But I can't get the picture to pull up.
Okay. So just to wrap our plugs in the beginning of the show. So make sure you can find our podcast on various podcast means of streaming and download. That's SoundCloud and iTunes and Google Play and Mixcloud and CB Cron Pod. You can find our fellow Cold Slither Podcast Network shows at CSPN.us. That is www.cspn.us. Make sure to shop at shop.cspn.us and pick up all sorts of merch that are related to our shows. And with that, we're going to start off this week's comic book review corner with Marvel 2-in-1 Annual #1. This is a surprising thing because we have not yet seen 11 or 12 issues of Marvel 2-in-1, and now we've got an annual.
Yeah, that seems to be a thing that Marvel's doing. I don't think it's probably just Marvel, but yeah, it's a thing we've been seeing in the last year or two.
Yep.
So, and it's still weird. So, go figure.
So Chip Zdarsky's put us back into the travels of Ben Grimm and Victor Von Doom specifically. This is sort of like a classic Marvel 2-in-1 story where it's the Thing teaming up with someone.
Yeah, and apparently it is kind of weird that that's the case. It was like, okay, they're actually going with the 2-in-1 format sort of in this one, because even though Victor has been with Johnny and been in the regular 2-in-1 story, all this time, this is just so happens to be mostly them on this one. Right. Actually, more than specifically him for the most majority of the story, seems like.
Exactly. So,
I don't know. Apparently, I guess a spoiler alert on his. Now, I guess a little side note. I honestly more skimmed this issue because of travel and whatnot.
Right.
So I'm kind of halfway through it.
Okay.
But yeah, you basically start off with a flashback to Victor in his childhood, and then you cut to the quote unquote present with him and Ben in another universe, with looking for another set of Reed and Sue's, and Victor and Ben having a little heart to heart because Victor knows that Victor believes, I should say, as Ben has been led to believe, that Reed and Sue are dead, and that this whole looking for Reed and Sue out in the multiverse, which we all know they still are out there, they don't know that, but Victor's like, hey, look, they're dead. I know they're dead. You told Johnny a lie just to get him out here and all this kind of good mess, which was the premise of 2-in-1 in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And this is their little heart to heart saying, like, look, what's really going on here, but
truth,
yeah, or the truth that like I said, we know the difference. They just don't know just yet. But and that leads them to go into, like I said, this other universe, and with another looking for another Reed and Sue, and also ending up in Latveria with a Doom who apparently has taken out this universe's Reed and Ben, from what I saw. So and I guess
you didn't make it to the end of the issue then.
No, not yet. Okay. But I was kind of spoiled on some of it because and you could even see it from where I am now and the theme is Doom can't really escape his past,
right? And
or his.
I would just say before you kind of delve into, because I would really want. What's funny is that I'm kind of regretting not pulling this, not picking this up, because I may just end up picking this up this weekend, like at another shop or something.
Like a physical?
Yeah, physical copy, because what I really liked about this issue is that they actually, ventured into some of the after effects of Secret Wars.
Right. And that's what I was spoiled on.
Right. So I didn't want to go that deep into it because I wasn't sure how far you had gotten, if you'd gotten to that point in the book. So it's enough to say that there's some of that being explored. And when I finished reading our review copies, I was like, man, I think I should go back and pick up the actual physical copy of this, because it might be not worth monetary wise, but just worth having my own copy of this.
Right. Yeah. So for this book, I was getting in the beginning. Actually, wait. I think I got the first one in the beginning physical, and then I think I dropped it in favor of getting digital.
Mm-hmm.
And but there, either way, yeah, there's some good art in here, and it's worth having for looks to be some of the revelations that happen in this issue.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is Declan Shalvey. We know him from doing Moon Knight and other cool stuff. But this, there's some really his art in this, I'm not 100% sold on it, because I think there's some places where he just gets away with not doing any sort of background work. It's just color.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think Zdarsky's story in this is so solid. It follows so closely to, it's more than just a logical follow-up to Secret Wars. So much of it is, weaved, it's so much of it pulls directly from like the deep FF story and the FF history and Doom's history. And, we get to this point where, we see Doom, like you said, not being able to escape his past, no matter what kind of redemptive story arc he's trying to put himself on. So it's an interesting, interplay between this book and how Infamous Iron Man sort of ends.
Yeah, kind of. Actually, I didn't read Infamous Iron Man, but yeah, I've heard shades of it. I've been meaning to go back and read it.
Right, but in this book, we're sort of in the middle of that story too, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I like this. This is a strong annual.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've read so far, it looked to be getting quite interesting. So, Doom in a battle with himself, literally and figuratively.
Absolutely.
Oh, and I guess I could point out that we do get, which I don't know where they went, but apparently the Council of Reeds have readjourned.
Or reappeared, yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm sitting here like, wait, did they actually ever go anywhere, or did they just like drop that? I don't know, because I know
honestly, I probably read it and I just don't remember. We read too many comics.
Yes, that is also true. That is also true.
It's part of it's an occupational hazard for us.
Yeah. Sometimes we don't read as much as we would like to, but we definitely do.
And then what we read, we tend to forget because we've just read so much.
Yep, that is true.
So I don't have the time to look at. We don't have the time to look at what happens to the Council of Reeds, but it's safe to say that now that the multiverse is being reconstructed, there's going to be aspects of the old stories that are going to be coming back, especially once the FF make their grand reappearance.
Right. Which, the funny thing about reading this to that point and reading back the last few issues, well, not reading back the last few, but reading the last few issues of this book, should have seen this coming with everything you just said.
Right.
Like, sure, why not the Council of Reeds coming back because of all the other, the multiverse being put back together again? That just makes total sense.
Right. Okay. All right. So that is the lone book that we have in common this week.
That very much is.
So I only have a total of, in addition to Marvel 2, I don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other books.
You still read twice as much as I have. So, Oh, and that the first one you have on your list, I totally intended to read.
I won't spoil it. I will say that what Roddy Cat is referring to is Marvel Rising Alpha #1. This is at least the first issue of this definitely draws upon the Free Comic Book Day edition of Marvel Rising, and if you don't read that, you're pretty much caught up to speed in the pages of this book. This book centers around the adventures of one Squirrel Girl and Ms. Marvel, and they find their paths intersecting. And it's a team up book with introduction of a new character who is sympathetic, yet may end up being a villain. So we will see what ends up happening. But this is a new direction for Marvel where it's going to be very much female-centric character, female-centered stories and characters.
I believe they did say that, yeah.
So,
going into that whole Marvel Rising thing, which is cool.
Right. Listen, you don't have to. I find that I find this still strange that we have to stress that it's a female character centered book, because I read Ms. Marvel.
So do I.
It makes me feel old, but I guess there's still a need for these books. There's still a need for a diverse lineup of books that involve female lead characters. So more power to these characters and the creators for putting them out.
Right. Well, my thing is like, if you actually really care about comics, as people claim they do, you shouldn't just kind of keep yourself to just the one or two, or the the niche, not the niche, but the standard stuff. The one, the cows and capes, and two, there are characters for everyone, and everybody's not going to like the same different things. But sometimes it's good to just branch out on other stuff. Like, there are some good stories to be had. That is not just Captain America, Iron Man, et cetera, et cetera.
Although it's nice to have
character.
I was about to say, it's nice to have Thor Odinson back. I hate to say, and the reason why I say this too, which is why I definitely recommend that you should read this. The Thor. You know what? We're leading right into Thor #1. Let me take care of it.
Well, I was about to say, are you finished with Marvel Rising Alpha?
Yeah.
So,
because I don't want to spoil it for you.
Oh, sure.
I will spoil the hell out of Thor #1. No, I'm kidding. So, ladies and gentlemen, Thor #1 is the next chapter in the saga of Thor, written by Jason Aaron. And Jason Aaron has been on Thor. He had Thor God of Thunder, and then he had the Jane Foster Thor, Mighty Thor, and now we're back to Thor with his golden arm. That's no longer, that's not gray, and but what the main thing that he is missing is, spoiler alert, sort of,
an eye.
Nay, not an eye, but a hammer. What is Thor without his hammer? So this is definitely, this would look very familiar to folks who are Marvel Cinematic Universe fans and decide to pick up Thor. Like, hey, there's something wrong with this. He doesn't have a hammer. The story picks up in the aftermath of what happened at the end of the Mighty Thor story. Asgardia is was basically trashed by the Mangog, and the point of this story is that Thor, Odin's son, has now stepped back into the mantle of Thor, and he is looking for various artifacts and weapons that were scattered when Asgardia was destroyed. These were weapons from Odin's weapons vault. That's something straight out of the MCU. I mean, that existed in the Marvel U, but MCU fans will recognize that concept right away. And we have Thor going up against a character who I think he last faced in Acts of Vengeance, to be honest. That's a shout out, right? And who am I referring to? None other than the Juggernaut. Yes, and there's some comedy to be had in here. Jason Aaron has never shied away from dropping funny lines and some lighthearted banter in the pages of Thor, despite the fact that his big overarching stories have involved like the God Butcher and the War of the Realms. There's still plenty of lighthearted fun to be had there, and like I said, for any fans of the MCU Thor and the recent Ragnarok movie, you will pick up a lot of the same kind of attitude and just wit, and it's so well done. It's seriously, Roddy, like you will get a kick out of reading it. It's that much fun. And there's one line where Thor is taking on there's a dwarf in here that calls the Juggernaut Juggles, because he's not 100% sure why. Yeah, see what I mean? Something like that just makes you chuckle. And there's a bit in here that makes you think of Jay-Z's opening lines in Public Service Announcement off the Black album, and you know that is going to be the song of the night, and that's how we're going to play ourselves out. So, like I said, I don't want to spoil it, because when you read it, we're gonna read the line and you're gonna be like, oh, that's exactly what Agent 70 meant. That's exactly how it sounds. Right. When I read this, I was like, yo, Jason Aaron was thinking of the Black album when he was writing.
I wouldn't be surprised knowing him.
You know, so it's pretty cool. Basically, the story behind the story is that Thor is trying to create a new hammer. There's not enough Uru left to build something sufficiently strong enough to compare to the original Mjolnir. So that's part of the problem. We're basically introduced to the new status quo, and Thor is put right into the War of the Realms, and we leave with a cool cliffhanger in Hela's old realm of Muspelheim. Oh no, is it Niflheim? So that's basically hell. So I would say that I know that it feels like you're like a million years behind on Thor if you haven't been keeping up. It's not a bad jumping on point. You already know what the basics are of what happened recently, so pick this up. You'll get there are going to be some parts that are going to put a smile on your face. That's why this is a huge potential click of the week for me.
Okay. Jeez. Wait. Hopefully, I'm not coming in. There we go. That's weird. It's like it keeps echoing sometimes. Anyway, well, I want to follow that. Well, I was going to ask one, like, does this absence of Uru mean that they're going to try to do it like Vibranium and be like, oh no, there's not a whole lot left, and then miraculously something happens and it's still flushed with the stuff in some kind of way?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Like somewhere, there was a miraculous storage of Vibranium or Uru that just happens to be found somewhere that's in the same place.
Honestly, couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you.
No problem.
There was a point in the Thor books where everything was made of Uru.
Mm-hmm.
They made an Uru Iron Man armor, if you remember.
Wow, are you really bringing up Fear itself?
Yeah, it was an Uru Iron Man Iron Man armor. So come on, we got tons of that stuff floating around. So
maybe Thor was going to go on Armor Wars and just grab all that stuff back. So like, yeah, all of y'all still have stuff, but we need this Uru back. So
yeah, there you go.
Just gonna go punching everybody out to go. Actually, probably would be a pretty good story. Anyway, to move along from that, actually, I want to follow Thor up because with Exiles number 4, and there is a reason why I want to do it with that, and I'm actually not going to say, but there is not so much as a tie, but there is a someone that Agent 70 brings up that happens to come along in said book. In that, so the team, so this is the weird part about it. So at the end of last issue, they were in New York, like 1940s-ish New York, and they met up with the Captain America of that timeline, who happened to be Peggy Carter. They went to go stop the Red Skull. There was an atom bomb that went off at the end of it, and so did apparently the Talus, which was the thing that Blink's been carrying around. And if you know the Exiles, you know what that is all about anyway. But for some strange reason, they end up in the West Indies, in I think a different in a different universe. So
right? Yeah.
Yes. And the Talus is gone, so they have to be looking for that. But they run into one, which is also another classic callback to an ever-loving blue-eyed pirate who just so happens to be in the area because there were some spies that were spying for him that he was supposed to be meeting, because there was like there was a slave trade going around, and the team kind of stumbles upon in that, and they help this spy get away from the people that his would-be captors, and then they end up with meeting said Blackbeard the pirate, one Benjamin J. Grimm.
Exactly.
If that wasn't,
you're familiar with, like, we're talking like Kirby era, Lee and Kirby era Fantastic Four. This is when this is the time that they're referencing.
Yeah, and it's not so much of a spoiler because it's on the cover.
Exactly.
So yeah. But however, it doesn't go off the way the covers might suggest. I should go ahead and say their meeting doesn't go off that way. So they end up basically helping Ben Grimm, and there's a couple other people like the Falcon of the time, and another version of a Rebecca Barnes that we see that was introduced last issue, but it's, as far as we know, it's not the same one. And of course, some things happen with that character, with Valkyrie, and that's some things. But yeah, so they're in this fight, and they're fighting this another actually version of a classic character. If you know your Avengers lore, and I won't say the name.
Okay.
But it is pretty much a second or third tier character that's not a superhero. I should point out that has been not necessarily on the Avengers side, but let's just say has some dealings with them.
Okay.
Yes. So, and that's who they're fighting, and and Misty Knight also comes in as a pirate, and of course her and Falcon have a little thing going on in this universe also. So they're fighting Garrick, and oops, I just said his name. Oh well. So they're fighting him, and some things happen, and a character that Agent 70 just mentioned has a amusing yet slightly prominent role, a specific role that got a chuckle out of me when I first saw it, and the way they named him was pretty good. But yeah, the battle is won, and the Talus is found, and actually I totally don't remember what happened at the end of the book.
No.
Oh, I do remember what happened at the end of the book, because and I'm definitely not going to say his name, but a villain who's been used as of recent years as a first arc kind of a preliminary villain in the start of many books. One or two notable being Uncanny Avengers shows back up, but he kind of has a slight upgrade, and he's taken someone else's powers.
Okay.
And they show, and this person, actually, I'm not even sure what they really call him. Like, he definitely names himself out, but if you see him, he's basically two characters in one.
Gotcha.
Because he took this other character's powers, and it looks quite amusing. And I guess he's going to either be the team's adversary for the run of this book, or the next issue coming in, because basically, yeah.
Okay.
He's after him. And you could pretty much say that there's also a person on the team who knows this person relatively well. So if you know the roster and you know the ties to this character, you know who I'm talking about. Otherwise, that's a pretty good read. Exiles is kind of something that's kind of like yeah, it's out there, the whole multiversal stuff, but they get to play around a little bit because they're going into different multiverses.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get it. That's why I've always liked the original version for that, just to see what kind of silliness they kind of cook up with. And they seem to be kind of keeping that still in this book.
Got it. All right. Do you want to get into a little rapid fire so we can wrap up?
Sure.
All right.
I only got one more left, so
spin it up. All righty. So let me run through mine, and you can take care of your last book. Mech Cadet U #9. This is Boom Studios by Greg Pak and Takeshi Miyazawa. If you are not reading this now, catch up. Go back to #1. Get this on Comixology. Get the trade paperbacks. This book is so much fun. I'm looking forward to introducing this. It's mildly scary. I don't know if I would give it to like a super young reader, but I would be more than comfortable giving this to a younger reader and saying, look, this is storytelling mixed with beautiful art. Read this. It's easy to understand, lots of fun. Mr. Miracle #9 is so crazy. It's so crazy. And obviously Tom King is drawing upon some real life things that are going on. I don't necessarily want to spoil everything, but the war and apocalypse is winding down. And some of the things that happen when a war winds down happen at a negotiating table. And what happens at the negotiating table in this issue is hysterical. It's also very crazy. And as we all know, we're still not sure what exactly is going on because of, we're not sure what Scott Free's mental status is at this point. So that's all still up in the air. We still have a few issues to go before we find out what it is that's happening. And finally, for me, is Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man #305. For anyone who's looking for a cool Spidey story, yeah, it's a little wacky because it's in an alternate reality. Spider-Man, his sister Teresa, and J. Jonah Jameson, of all people, are time and reality hopping, and things go awry when they go back to try to talk to young Peter Parker, and that's the whole idea behind the story, is that particular interaction goes very poorly. I've said it before, what's cool about Spectacular is that they are not leaving it out to dry. They are absolutely incorporating what's happened in Spectacular to this point, i.e. the reveal of Peter's secret identity to J. Jonah Jameson. I'm not spoiling anything at this point. It's been out there for a while. So they're incorporating that in Amazing, but at the same time, Amazing has been trying to wrap up that big run by Dan Slott. If you're looking for like super action stories with Spidey and kind of inspirational and just fun at the same time, Peter Parker Spectacular is where you need to go, where you need to be reading, is what you need to be reading, where you need to go to get that kind of story.
Gotcha. All right.
And you're up.
All right. Well, my last book is Titan Special #1.
Okay.
So this is Nightwing trying to get the group back together, but it's not the full group that you think it would be. It is actually, and some of it has come out of Metal, which I have not read, so I don't know. And the troubles that the Titans were having in their book already, when they were already pretty much broke up because the league came to them and said, shut this down. And I think Nightwing was like, fine, we're shutting this down, or whatever the case may be. And they were already split up. And I'm trying to wonder if I'm like behind on something, because there's a couple things that got brought up that I'm like, am I missing something or not? Because as far as I know, I think I'm caught up on Titans. But anyway, Nightwing goes to the league to tell them that, hey, I'm going to put the team together, because there needs to be a team out there, because apparently the Source Wall came down during Metal, which if you've read Metal, you would probably know that about now, so it's not really a spoiler. So this is causing a whole bunch of new metas to come about, and Nightwing wants to put it together to basically try to find these emerging metas, and not necessarily take care of them, but just to find them, just kind of walk them through the onset of their powers, I guess. I'm not sure. He wasn't really specific about that, because he wasn't really trying to like capture them to put them away or anything, but he just wants to get out there in front of it, so that, hey, when people start manifesting their powers, that they could have some place to kind of to try to deal with that, basically, I guess. Because his reasoning for this was because he was following this one young lady with whose powers had emerged and was running away from him, and he didn't handle it right, and something ended up happening, and that's what caused him to want to put this team together. So he went to the league to tell them he was doing this, and the league was like, okay, yeah, we needed a team like this, so you could do this, and it'll be a Justice League sanctioned group. And he was like, well, I'm not telling you this because I wanted your blessing. I'm telling you because I wanted to do this anyway. So anyway, that whole thing goes about. He goes off to make his team, and as I said, it's a weird mix of Teen Titans and it's Teen Titans, a couple of at least one Titan, and then one other new. Well, I guess technically a Young Justice character, aka also another Teen Titans character, an old Teen Titans character, and a newish character, I guess. Like you would know this character if you've been around for a while and you know who they're related to.
Okay.
But who apparently I haven't seen in a while and didn't know too much about their powers right now. So seeing them in here, not knowing who it was in the beginning until a name popped up, I was like, okay, well, that's what this is. But yeah, so this is, like I said, Nightwing putting this group together, and they end up dealing with some stuff that happens around trying to find these new emerging metas. And I think at the end of the book, or at the end of the book, there's a big bad that pops his head up that's going to give him some trouble back in the Titans book. And apparently something happened with the Team Titans where they're going rogue or something. But I think that's kind of something that's been playing out on Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an interesting read. It was cool. I'm like, like I said, it was just weird to see the mix of team that they put together.
Right.
But I'm like, it kind of made sense as to why some of these folks are together, or that this team was put together the way it was.
Okay. All right. So I guess we are coming to our clicks of the week. I don't know if anyone has contributed, but here comes the sound.
No, and I totally got the F, but I'm assuming we have one because it looks like you have yours.
Oh yeah, easy for me.
And so we go ahead and wait and say it.
Want me to just do it?
Sure.
Mine is Thor #1 by Jason Aaron, Mike Del Mundo, with the backup story by who did the backup story? Christian Ward of Black Bolt fame.
Yeah. Oh wow, he's writing now?
No, he did the art.
Oh,
he did the art because the backup story is Jason Aaron, of course.
Oh, okay. No, you just said Christian Ward. I was like, wait, he's an artist, but I didn't think he was writing. Yeah, so I got you. I got you. Well, while we wait and see if we're actually going to get something from the other two cats, I kind of hate to do this because it's like I said earlier, I kind of halfway read it and I'm not finished yet, but it's shaping up to be, even from what I read, kind of shaping up to be interesting, and that would be Marvel 2-in-1 Annual #1.
All righty.
Like I do like the Exiles was interesting, and the callback to Pirate Ben was cool, but like I said, Marvel 2-in-1 seemed like it kind of has some more meat to it.
Cool. Yeah, there's definitely a lot more to it because it's annual sized annual.
Well, I mean, just in the story that I read so far, which is basically,
Yeah, because it's got the annual number of pages to it. So they had Zdarsky had some more space to really examine, these particular relationships.
Right.
Okay, so we haven't heard back from our other co-hosts, so we can safely move forward with our first ad of the night. Our first ad of the night is for Funko, Fun at First Sight. Your home for exclusive collectibles such as their world-famous pop vinyl bobbleheads, apparel, t-shirts, hats, and socks, and brand merchandise, custom DIY pop figures, art books, and skateboards. And now the listeners of the KLIQ Nation's Comic Book Chronicles can enjoy 10% off your entire purchase when shopping at Funko. To place your first order with 10% off and to help keep our show free for you, go to our network website at cspn.us. That's cspn.us. Then click on the Keep Our Podcast free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down to the Funko link and place your order. When you get to the checkout, put in the offer code SHOP10 for your 10% off discount. Funko through cspn.us. Do it today. All righty. So I guess we're going to move into the news. All righty. So we'll tag team.
You want to go ahead and start it off while I get the screen share up?
You got it. So our first piece of cinematic news is Samuel L. Jackson thinks Nick Fury could have stopped Infinity War. Really?
So I put this in here because when we talked about Infinity War, I mentioned as much. Well, and maybe not stop it, but it seemed like he could have, because even the article says he says in this article, which he was doing this on while he was doing his junket for Incredibles 2, which apparently is out today, which is kind of funny because at the end of the article, Brad Bird's like, when did this turn into an Infinity War junket? But so anyway, so Sam J was talking and he was basically saying, Fury could have stopped, could have done something about, Infinity War. And I'm sitting here like, I don't know about stop, but he definitely would have been ahead of the game, because if you think about it, when the Avengers started, that's kind of what he was doing. He was putting the team together to stop something some stuff that he knew was coming.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was kind of his, I'm paraphrasing, but that was kind of what he was saying with this article.
Gotcha. But without, but if New School Nick Fury had been able to stop Infinity War, we would not have gotten our next story.
True. Or it would have went out way differently. And that would be Avengers Infinity War hits $2 billion at the worldwide box office. So yeah, the joint made money. Which, surprise. Yeah.
Seriously, $2 billion.
I like how the site used a screen cap from something that was not even used in the movie.
Yeah, right. But also they're making it rain. So
yeah, exactly. Like I see what you were doing there.
Yeah, I love it. It's the fourth film in history to hit $2 billion at the box office, and it's still going.
Yeah, that it is. Wait, did they even actually say? Oh yeah, Avatar, Titanic, and Force Awakens. Which, wait, didn't Black Panther?
Nope.
Which, well, yeah, no man, that's a whole nother story right there. We're gonna just move on because don't get me started on that. No, niggas will take us. There's always that, like they've always been looking for something that's gonna unseat Black Panther, and even in the middle of this article,
I was about to say it blew. Like we all knew it was gonna blow past Black Panther, no matter what we were rooting for. You know what I mean?
Well, one way or another, yeah, that's for sure. That's what people have been,
like
for one reason or another.
I remember we were going through the news in the midst of the Black Panther box office accumulation stories, and I just remember thinking, man, if Black Panther's pulling this much, what's Infinity War gonna pull?
Yeah, and I'm sure that that there were other people thinking of similar for a different reason, but hey, good for it. Hey, like you said, it's not like we didn't know it was going to make some money.
Exactly. So, alrighty. Our next story is there's a report that Jordan Peele of Key and Peele and more notably Get Out wants to reboot Gargoyles as a movie. When I read this, I had the stupidest grin on my face for a while.
You and a bunch of other people apparently, because because anytime you bring up Gargoyles, people are like, oh yes, that was awesome, great, and blah blah. It just keeps going and going on. So
listen, Gargoyles was on during this weird time when I at least was like in my latter years in college, and
Same.
just not you know, it wasn't like anything out there. It definitely carried a lot of mature themes, and it had voice talent from the next generation of Star Trek. So it was just kind of like this weird amalgamation of like just cool things, and it was just too short-lived.
Yeah, I'm ashamed to admit that I haven't I did watch a few I remember watching a few episodes of it, but I didn't get in as deep into it as other people did, and not for lack of wanting to. It's just that, you know, I think I was like you said, was in school, and you know, things were things, so I couldn't really catch it like I wanted to. But yeah, people who were there for it that were probably younger than us also, and
yeah,
were definitely like, yes, you know, it seems like everything.
Yeah, I remember picking up a Goliath action figure where he had like the fold out wings. It was pretty cool.
Right.
So
I'm actually thinking, I was like, I wonder if the DVDs are out there for this, because I would definitely go back and
where's it streaming? I want to watch it again.
Exactly. And that's another thing. It's like, how come a lot of shows like this are not on streaming services?
Waiting for the demand, I guess. I mean, maybe it'll be on the Disney streaming service, because
I don't know. Yeah, I would imagine. I would hope so.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that we'll see if that takes flight. Yeah. Anyway, moving right along.
Do you want the drum roll? Here you go.
Nah, I don't. I mean, that honestly probably didn't deserve it, but thank you anyway.
All right, you got next.
Yep. Loeb explains why Marvel's Most Wanted pilot has not aired. Blame Disney, or excuse me, not Disney. Blame ABC apparently, because if he had his way, he would have had it put away, which obviously would be the case. So it says here in this article that, let me see if the direct quote is in here. Yeah, ABC, we all know, and you know, so Marvel's Most Wanted was the spinoff from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that was going to star Adrian Palicki as Bobby Morris, aka Mockingbird, and her hubby. I keep wanting to call him, Lance Hunter. I would keep wanting to call him Lance Vance. I'm sorry to Hunter for that. But it never got picked up, which left the two stars, you know, and they couldn't really, the way they got them written out in the store, they couldn't really just come back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That was a bummer on both sides of that, because I was like, wow, that's a dumb way to write them out like that, even if you work on put a plot and put a thing to it. So basically, yeah. That never happened. There was a pilot made, and Jeff Loeb saying that it was great, but unfortunately they can't. It's not going to be aired because of ABC, because they don't want to air it, and he can't do anything about that. So, but apparently, according to him, it was great. It was a great pilot. We'll never know.
Right. All right. So Jeff Loeb also has our next story, which is Jeff Loeb reveals what's holding an Agent Carter revival back.
Which is pretty much the same answer as the previous article in that blame ABC.
Wow.
That is me saying that because, come on, they shouldn't have got rid of that show. But actually, let me see. Does it actually say here what? So it's a shame, yeah. So he just says it's a shame that the network canceled it and wanted to put me back in something more mainstream. You know, Marvel didn't want it to end. There was a lot of online campaigns to bring her back. Fans loved her. I think it was just a network economical thing. Let's put Haley in something more mainstream, less genre specific, to see if we can get higher ratings, which they did, and I'm not sure that did all that well. And unfortunately, that isn't as an actor anything got to any control of it, but maybe in small ways, characters like. Well, anyway, basically, yeah, ABC was fault.
Okay.
So that's the takeaway I read from it, and I believe that kind of plays into the next. No, it does not, because I believe there was another article out there saying, and I may have it in here or not, saying it's like or at least had me thinking, boy, if only Agent Carter had a network or a parent with a couple of different networks that they could have put this back on, instead of them having to hunt for another network. Because I think that was a tweet that went out there a little while ago, or this week around this article.
Okay.
Anyway, move right along.
Alrighty, so our next story is Ant-Man and the Wasp gets stunning classic comic-inspired Empire cover. Nice.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, they have it here, so you can see some of it on the video. If you are watching it, it looks cool. It shows Ant-Man, Wasp, and the antagonist, the Ghost, played by Hannah John Kamen, who's awesome.
Nice. So, ladies and gentlemen, please don't, kind of have a Infinity War hangover and forget to show up for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm sure it's a good time.
That would be some funny thing. Is that in the middle of the film, you just hear, and then one of them disappears or something, or Hank Pym just disappears or something. I don't know.
Awful. All right. Next up is, I guess we're not tag teaming. Where I'm just going to start shouting these out. Marvel Studios launches a 10th anniversary website featuring new posters. I really like some of these posters.
Yeah, some of them are cool. I think Taika Waititi had his poster up.
Oh, he had a poster with Korg?
I believe that. Well, I don't know if he had one, but there was one that he showed that he did a tweet of. It said something like "friend of Doug," and they had Korg on there, but it would look just like these posters. So I'm not sure if that was an actual poster or if that's something he did.
Yeah.
Or yeah, it was like more than a friend of Doug's. I think is what it said. Just like these kind of. So I thought that was cool, and I'm not sure if that one was a real one or not, but yeah. So there is the website out there. And did you look at? Did you get Black Panther?
The Blu-ray, yes.
Yeah. Did you see the feature, the 10-year feature?
I have not yet. I admit.
Okay. Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. It's kind of cool. That's all I was gonna say about that. So next one up, Star Wars. Don't expect Rian Johnson's trilogy until at least 2020, which I guess makes sense because we're not finished with this one just yet.
Mm-hmm.
So
makes sense.
Yeah.
Alrighty. The DC Universe Service Eyes August launch. That's coming up soon, folks. And it includes comics, movies, and shows. Talk about a one-stop shop.
Yeah, I still don't know whether it's going to be worth it, but they would have to. It can't be no worse or no better. Can't be no worse than that stupid WWE. I said stupid because I don't.
Oh no.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, like, look, there's a lot of DC animated stuff. They maybe they'll put Birds of Prey on there, but that's on that CWC app. I don't know. I doubt if they'll do that. So yeah, I don't know. That's gonna have to have a lot for me to plunk down some money to even try it. And I'm sure they'll have like a 7-day trial or something of it.
What's awful is that I can barely bring myself to read like 2 or 3 DC books a month. We're talking Batman, Justice League, and Mr. Miracle. That's
Mr. Miracle. Actually, I'm reading more than that. Mr. Miracle, Trinity, and both of the Titans books.
Yeah.
And I think there's another.
I can't even bring myself to read the Titans right now.
Yeah. I mean, before that metal thing went off, that it was actually had a nice little thing going on. But like, again, metal came along and
messed things up. I got you.
Kind of, even though it didn't really necessarily have that much to do with it. Either one of them that I think about. I think one of them tied in a little bit more closely to it than not. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of shame that happens.
Alrighty.
Suicide Squad sequel hires new writers.
Okay.
David Barr Katz and Todd Stashwick will be writing the script to the DC supervillain team's next cinematic adventure, along with director co-writer Gavin O'Connor.
Good luck to them. Hope you can come up with something better.
Yeah, apparently the Katz person is doing the Spawn reboot. Okay. Oh, and Stashwick was a series regular on the 12 Monkeys series that Sci-Fi had. Okay. Sure. Next.
Jeff Johns to write and produce a Green Lantern Corps movie. Really?
Yep. Which we'll have more news about Jeff Johns later. So that's kind of ties into that.
Okay. Next up.
I don't think there was anything else. Yeah, like I said, we'll get to this other news later. Kingsman sequel, prequel, spinoff, and TV show all in the works.
I gotta admit, I have not yet seen the first Kingsman.
I have seen them both. As a matter of fact, I watched the second one as recent as like a week and a half ago. It was all right. You know, those movies are all right. I don't know. I may think I still like the first one better because it was just a little crazy. It was a little out there for a little bit, but yeah, they were good. So yeah, if you're one of those ones who saw both of the Kingsman movies and liked them, hey, you're getting some more. And I'm pretty sure there might have been some more stuff attached to this or come along with it. Oh yeah, because I think there might be like a Kick-Ass or something else that might be going along with this, because this just so happened to be focused on this one. I saw another article out there about some other stuff that they're trying to do.
Okay.
But next,
the legendary poster for Star Trek: The Motion Picture is getting a limited edition release.
Cool.
Releasing it.
Yep. I love that poster. I've always liked that poster.
It's always been lots of cool colors for me.
Yes. So if you're watching the video, you can see what that is now. And if you don't know, hey, guess what? Star Trek movies did not start in 2009. Star Trek Motion Picture was the very first Star Trek movie with the original crew, and it's better than people say it was. I think I have a fondness for that movie, but that one's paying. But then again, when you know that Wrath of Khan comes right after it, it's kind of, it gets left out there. Anywho, it's Hollywood, not Chinese censors, keeping your characters straight. So basically, this was an article that CBR wrote up saying that sometimes we've gotten the excuse that, hey, yeah, we're trying to get this movie, XYZ movie to play in Chinese market, when in certain cases that's not the case, because as this article goes on to say, the Chinese market doesn't really censor much outside of the depictions of its own, people, and or more for like the military and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's the only kind of stuff that they actually censored. It's stuff about like dealing with sexuality and stuff like that. They don't really censor for that kind of stuff. So that's been a lie that Hollywood's been telling you. That's the short story of this article. But you should read it. It's kind of interesting.
Okay. Alrighty. So we move on to, is there anything in clickbait or anything else that you want to talk about?
There's always something in clickbait, but now we can move on.
Alrighty. So in comic book news, we have Valiant announcing a new lineup of series for 2018 and beyond.
Right. You know what? I'm lying, actually, but I'm not just going to bring this. I'm only bringing this up because I thought it was something funny. So there is an article in clickbait. The show notes are there. If you follow my Twitter, you can see it. If we really need to do something with this stuff. But there was an article out there about who put She-Hulk in a coma in Civil War 2 exactly, and that one I'd actually kind of forgotten about some of that stuff. And there's also another one about well, I guess we'll kind of get into that later on, but basically an interview with Tom King about an upcoming I guess crossover event that's happening.
Okay.
Yeah, and some other news that have come. Marvel's Star Wars with. Oh wait, did you do that one already?
I did. That was the first one.
Wait, no, it wasn't. Valiant one was the first one.
Valiant was first, yeah.
Okay, so you did that one. So I was right in saying that Marvel Star Wars Comics introduces Solo's movie MacGuffin, and that would be the that would be the fuel that they use near the end of the movie. If you haven't seen Solo yet, what are you waiting on?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen this or Deadpool 2.
I haven't seen Deadpool 2, and Deadpool 2, and I don't.
Deadpool 2.
Yeah, I know, right? Shout out to Harley Quinn, I guess. I don't know.
No.
But basically, so there is a fuel that ends up being used in Solo's movie that shows up in the comics recently. Okay. So yeah, there you go.
All right. So next up is Havoc's Axis inversion comes to an end in X-Men Blue.
Wow, who wrote this?
What?
That dude that wrote this. He must be. Where'd that dude come from?
Who's that? Tim?
Yeah, Tim Adams. I don't know that dude.
Shout out to Tim Dog 19.
So this is a funny article because it's like, well, because Axis. So if you don't know, real quick, Axis was when the heroes' personalities got turned evil some kind of way. It was kind of silly. And you still don't even know when some of the people came out of it or ever came out of it at all, because it just kind of got swept under the rug. So apparently Havoc's inversion has come to an end fairly recently in X-Men Blue 28. I don't know how because I really didn't read it. I just put that article in there just saying that actually happened. So I'm like, and it also made me remember it's like, oh yeah, that did happen because once again, like I said, all that inversion stuff just kind of got
we all forgot about it. Exactly.
Yeah, because some of the people's like, okay, we saw, sure, it happened to some people, but there were some people that were still under the effects of inversion, and we don't know what happened. It was that whole thing was weird. If you feel froggy, go check out X's, but don't worry about it. Marvel Comics just reunited its most dangerous duo, and this is a spoiler for Infinity Countdown 4, which I believe you read.
Yes, last week.
Yes. So guess who's back? Guess who's back as a tag team, y'all?
Mm-hmm.
The Silver Surfer is now once again and probably forever a herald of Galactus. Which is he still the Lightbringer in this point, or no?
No. That's another part of the story in Infinity Countdown number 4, which is the Lightbringers no more. As part of the story, Galactus reverts to his former self.
Of course. As they tend to do. I'm like, come on, give us something good and then they take it away. Anywho, 1980s flashback in Amazing Spider-Man Annual, aka Saladin Ahmed is writing Amazing Spider-Man Annual #1. Congrats to him.
When is this coming out?
Says September 19th.
Okay, cool.
Yep, and your boy Greg Land is doing the. I'm just kidding.
I'm
kidding. It's Gary Brown who's doing the art for this. Yeah, we won't go. I can't really go too much into it, but then apparently it has something to do with an 80s flashback. So, yeah, check that.
I guess that's our demo. We're in that demographic, so
yeah, basically. So,
all right. So wait, what the hell is a story? When did this come out? Domino supposedly is going to join Marvel's The Avengers for the first time.
So I believe that is in this week's book.
Domino book? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this week's Domino books where she becomes an Avenger. Remember when they were? Well, let's be real. The Avengers have been selectively selective about who's joined them. You remember when they said Wolverine would never be an Avenger? Cap specifically said that.
Well, that was pre-Bendis,
right? So, and it always trips me out because there's that one Avengers, I think it was 221, where they were trying to do a new lineup, and they had a bunch of people's pictures up. Mm-hmm. Who then would never think to become an Avenger, and then later on, like you said, because of Bendis and others, are now actually Avengers. That's always funny.
Except for Rom Space Knight, because he doesn't belong to Marvel.
Right.
He doesn't work in Marvel anymore. So.
Yeah, he's over in the IDW. IDW? Yeah, IDW. Wow, that's.
But you remember on that cover.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. That's interesting that you even remember that part. So yeah. So yeah, it's almost as if they took that issue. It was like, oh yeah, I want to put that person in the book. But anyway, that's all history at that point. So yeah, Domino's apparently is going to be an Avenger, and I think I haven't read this issue, but I don't know.
I'll look at our review copy.
Yeah, I mean, I actually bought it, but I hadn't had a chance to read it, so I don't know what's the deal. So that's the thing. Like, okay, yeah, Avengers are taking everybody.
All right, you got next.
Unstoppable Wasp. Back from cancellation with new ongoing, and as I said on Twitter, that is awesome news because that book is actually pretty cool. Boy, why couldn't that happen with the 2 Black Panther books that were canceled mercilessly and quickly?
The truth.
And on that note, also, actually, I'm going to do these next 2, and actually, because speaking of back by popular demand, Iceman book has also returned from cancellation. And it's coming back this September.
Okay, so I'm just gonna. You go ahead. Then I'm gonna do the cynical take.
No, I was gonna say, same writer and I think artist. I'm not sure if that was the same artist or not. So, but yeah, that book's back.
You want the cynical take on these 2 announcements?
Go for it.
They want as much Wasp and Ant-Man stuff out there as possible, so they're announcing that it's coming back from cancellation in a new series. Even though it's returning in the fall, they want to at least get eyes on this particular new story. And it is Pride Month, if I'm not mistaken, so of course they're going to announce that Iceman is coming back as well, given the revelations of that character's sexuality. So, that's the cynic in me saying, hey, these announcements are coincidentally timed.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I can't disagree with part of that. So that I would imagine the Wasp one kind of sort of fits in that same vein too. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I'm glad to see both of those books going back because there was a market for both of those books, even though they were canceled. But at the same time, like I said just a minute ago, where's the 2 Black Panther books that got killed? Because if by that logic, they should have brought back those 2 around the Black Panther, but they didn't.
They should have. That's when they should have released them. Let's be honest.
Well, that is also true.
Yeah,
but or at least kept them up until then. But yeah, I don't know because Black Panther just started with a new #1. Regardless, it is what it is now. And like if they did come back,
that was bad timing.
That was just bad, terrible.
Period. But in terms of, you mentioned the relaunch of Black Panther, where that particular volume of Coates' run, that volume of the book was coming to an end just when the movie was out.
Right.
So that's just bad time. That's just not good corporate synergy, people.
No, like I said, it's just bad. So yeah, timing, synergy, all that, it's still bad. That's all it is. But moving right along, going back a little bit,
because Roddy can go on and on about this.
I could and I won't because there's probably an hour's worth.
If we did a mixtape of Roddy, highlights of all of Roddy's misgivings about what.
Yeah, my rants about that are well recorded. So Marvel seems to be retconning Ant-Man and Wasp's controversial abuse arc, which I forgot to mention. Well, I didn't forget to mention, but because when Dirk came in while I was talking about Ant-Man and Wasp, didn't get a chance to get to it. But in the Ant-Man and Wasp #1, the living Legends story, not the Ant-Man Wasp one, right. But or actually, I take that back. It was the Ant-Man and Wasp one, I think. I don't remember. It was one of those. Regardless, so yeah, as you can see on the video, they basically started the book off with a recap of Janet and Hank's early history as I was about to say Black Panther as Ant-Man and Wasp. What they omitted was the fact that they kind of stopped. As it says here, they were a legendary team together. They shared a love bright as shame to stars. But what they didn't do was talk about the fact that they didn't do the stuff after that when Hank was having a nervous breakdown, he slapped a wasp and all that kind of good stuff. So it seemed like either they intentionally or not, but they kind of gloss over the fact that there was a history of domestic violence in their coupling.
Mm-hmm.
And they just kind of, like I said, once they went past this book, once they went past this page, so they just kind of just went on with the rest of the story. So, and that was the part I didn't get to mention last week. So,
okay,
yeah, whether that was intentional or not, and I have no reason to believe that I would just assume that it was probably intentional that they did that, but I don't know that for certain. We will never know that.
Gotcha. Alrighty.
But it's the thing that they did, and we should never forget.
Got it. Okay.
Right. So let me rephrase that. Some of us of a certain vintage will never forget. The newer folks won't know nothing. Spider-Man PS4 is showcasing new gameplay video. Spider-Man PS4 looks awesome. Because E3 was this past weekend, and there was a lot of gaming announcements. This was the only one that was definitely tied to video game to comics. So, so if anybody has a PS4, I shouldn't say that because it's not out there. But there is some gameplay. If you are interested in this, you should go check it out. Go look for the PS4 gameplay that they showed. It looks great. It's shaping up to be a damn good Spider-Man game. It is made by the folks who did Surge Set, Overdrive, and few other games, Sucker Punch, I believe. Wait, is it Insomnia or Sucker Punch? I'm fucking it up.
You got me?
It's Sucker Punch. I believe it's Sucker Punch. Either way, you should go check that out because, again, that is that the game is looking good so far.
Yep.
And Insomniac, I was right. Not Sucker Punch. I always get Insomniac and Sucker Punch confused because they have done a couple of done games in the past that would warrant them to do a game like this. So Either way, like I said, go check it out. That when it's coming out September 7th, by the way.
I was about to say, I know that myself and Tim Dog 98 have been talking about getting this game and getting a PS4 just for this game. I wanted to get a the Marvel vs. Capcom. What was it called? The
Infinite,
right? And I heard bad things about it, but
yeah,
I was gonna say ultimately I'm probably gonna pick it up on sale as I'm getting Spider-Man. Whatchamacallit? This new Spider-Man PS4 game.
Sure.
So.
Oh, and actually going back to clickbait, there was an article that's in there that talks about the villains that show up during the course of this gameplay. Villain, basically, it's the Sinister Six, and they're working for somebody, and they don't show who they're working for, even though it is kind of alluded that hey, they're working for somebody. My money is on Green Goblin. Could be Doc Ock, but I don't think it'd be working with him because he'd be with them, not working for them. But we don't know. Like I said, the last thing we see at the end of the trailer is Spidey getting his ass beat, and somebody pops up, but we don't know who it is. So, needless to say, this is going to be this is going to be good. I think this is going to be good.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So DC just dusted off and then killed an obscure superhero team. Okay. So this is trying to open the story, peoples.
I don't know who these people are.
What team is this? I don't know who it is.
So if you're looking at the video, there's the man they call Dynamo. I guess that was his name.
Okay.
I'm sure Matt Wang probably knows who these people are. I still, now that I think about it, I bought this issue and I still don't know. I still haven't read it yet. And there was another, I'll say Human Dynamo, and I don't know who the other person was, but for some strange reason they brought her back just to kill him again.
Okay.
And during the course of Deathstroke versus Batman, weirdly enough.
You got me.
Yeah, don't know. Chase. That's the other one.
All right. You got next.
A DC-themed Snapchat lens could get you into Comic-Con. So, hey, if you want to... So, I guess this is... Okay. Oh, thank you. So, we got one, Tim Dog 98 saying that his click of the week is store number 1.
Yay!
So, thereby, so we got...
Because it was good. It was super good.
Nice. So that back to the story. So yeah, apparently there's a contest or something. This is a Snap's first Lens Studio Challenge involving a big name company, which means I guess so. Basically, what they want you to do is make a Snapchat lens depicting something in the DC universe. I guess not unlike that Dazzler one that happened like last week. I'm assuming. And then I guess if they use it, then you get a trip to Comic-Con in July, which I'm assuming that's going to be soon because Comic-Con is soon. So I guess go out there. There's something in the article. You can go check it out. DC Entertainment President Diane Nelson exits the company. In fact, that is a couple of exits we'll be talking about in the next minute or so. Because that... along with Jeff Johns exits DC Entertainment for writing and producing deal. And one of those deals was one that you heard about earlier, that being the Green Lantern deal. Let's see. Next up, also, in addition to that, he will be doing Jeff Johns launching Shazam and 3 Jokers titles, and along with new pop-up imprint. So he basically got out of one job to start another one, and he pretty much must have already had all this stuff in his pocket for this to all already be out here like that. So yeah, like I said, he's doing a 3 Jokers title, a Shazam title, along with a new pop-up imprint at DC Comics called The Killing Zone. I would say not to be confused with The Killing Joke, but we don't know that actually for sure.
Don't know that for sure.
Yeah, so The Killing Zone will be a slate of comic books focusing on new and lesser known DC characters and titles. although no specifics are given. Which you would think those new books that they put out would have been along with this, like Silencer and all of that.
Yeah,
but we don't know. Either way, that's all's coming. He's got some stuff in the works, and giving up one job for another one. But speaking of that job,
so Jim Lee has been new DC Entertainment Chief Creative Officer.
Mm-hmm. And now, why I want them the thing? Did I miss it? So yeah. So Jim Lee is now taking over for Jeff Johns as DC Entertainment Chief Creative Officer. There you go. One door opens, the other one closes, or vice versa. Let's see. Did that one. Oh, by the way, you may or may not have heard of this one, but a little company named AT&T was trying to buy Time Warner, and that deal's gone through. So, which means, as we have come to find out, AT&T now owns Warner Brothers, DC Comics, and the rest of Time Warner. So your cable bill's about to get a whole lot higher. I'm just kidding. Actually, that might not be too far off the truth. Oh, they also own HBO and CNN. So yeah, AT&T now owns DC
Comics.
Yeah. For the comic bend of this, but yeah, this deal is a whole big thing.
Yep. All right. So DC announces a full artist slate for 2019 DC Ink and Zoom books.
Mm-hmm. And I believe that these are the middle, the young adult books, imprints.
Okay.
That we talked about, and yeah, we got like Super Sun book of DC. I think we talked about some of this before, but yeah, there's some stuff that they're coming out with. We talked about some of these before, and I think they've added some more stuff to it, like a Harley Quinn book and a Catwoman book. So yeah, stuff for the youngsters.
All right.
41 covers and counting for Batman number 50. So we talked about it last week. There was like 13, and now there's double that. I can't remember how much it was, but yeah, there's a lot of covers. Good gracious.
Yep.
Sean Murphy's Batman White Knight joins DC's Black Label imprint. So if you don't know about this one, this was I know I've talked about this, but this is basically when the Joker turns good, Batman turns bad, and it was a damn good story. You should go check it out. And the paperback is going to be released on October 9th, I guess, on Black Label. So cool.
All right. Not to be confused with Johnny Walker Black Label, but okay.
Exactly.
In our next bit of news, the Legion of Superheroes was almost relaunched by Jim Lee and Gail Simone.
Which, yeah, it seems to be weeks of, well, it seems to be at least a couple of weeks of, Gail Simone things that haven't been, that's been shelved. That's kind of been out there. Which is a shame, but she's a pretty good writer. Because I think her Plastic Man came out this week, and Domino that she's writing. But I didn't get a chance to read either one. So, yeah. So Legion of Superheroes, which apparently this person who wrote the article almost fangasmed about in the course of this article.
Okay.
Anyway, Jean Lun Yang. I apologize for butchering your name, sir. Jin Yang reveals first artwork for Superman Smashes the Klan. And it sounds like I can't read. This is also a part of that DC Zoom middle grade imprint, but I don't think it was in that article because I think this came out slightly after that. So we get some artwork from it, as you can see if you're watching the video.
It's very Fleischer Superman,
right? And definitely younger looking versions of Lois and Jimmy. And I don't know who his other character is, unless that's Perry White and a couple other people. So, looks good. Ethan Van Sciver, is it Sciver or Seaver?
Sciver, I think.
Exits DC Comics to do create their own stuff. Apparently, he has a series named Cyberpunk that he wants to do. And he thinks somebody asked him on Twitter about it, and he was like, whether he was going to ever do or go back to DC anytime soon. And he basically said, well, he wants to do Cyberfall for the next couple of years, and then maybe.
Okay.
Good luck to him. DC. So DC Heroes in Crisis to explore superhero trauma. So this was the Tom King thing that we kind of alluded to earlier. So apparently this is going to be I wanted to say another in the series of crises that DC Comics has thrust upon us in the past history. But this one sounds like it's going to be doing a little something different because it's talking about superhero trauma. So I don't know. Could be something to it. Tom King has done some good stuff, so we'll have to see where that goes when it happens. Starting September 26th. Warren Ellis and Jason Howard reunite for Cemetery Beach. That's Beach. That's Beach, in case you misheard me. And that is also launching this September. Cemetery Beach, professional pathfinder, his only ally, a disaffected young murderess, breaks out of a torture cell in pursuit of his worst extraction scenario area, escaping on foot across a sprawling and secret off-world colony established 100 years ago, filled with generations of lunatics. So it kind of sounds like what's this movie? The Prisoner mixed with a little bit of Battle Royale. I don't know. Hey, Warren Ellis, go check him out. And last but not least, we kind of already talked about it, so we don't really have to say anything about it. And that was The Truth About Secret Wars revealed in Marvel 2-in-1 Annual #1. And like I said, we kind of talked about it. We don't want to spoil too much more about it, but you should go read Marvel 2-in-1 Annual.
Right.
All I'm going to say about that. And we're done with the news.
All righty. So I'm going to pull up our last ad of the night. And you know when I'm tired and we got to keep it short and sweet, you know what our go-to ad is. Help keep our podcast free by shopping at Amazon. Visit cspn.us, then click the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down and click on the Amazon link to shop. Purchase items from Amazon as you normally would, whether it's books, music, electronics, jewelry, apparel, and ebooks. Be on the lookout for some cool new ebooks that are coming out very soon that are in a pre-purchase or pre-order. For every purchase made on Amazon through our link, Amazon sends the CSPN payment that helps us keep the KLIQ Nation's Comic Book Chronicles podcast free for our listeners at no extra cost to you. Amazon.com through CSPN.us. Do it today. So before we wrap tonight, I wanted to share something that I had just recently got, like literally today came in the mail. So I ordered for the second time the Kamoyo beads produced by Rock Love Jewelry in association with Marvel. And I've got they're the cheaper version, the glass bead version of the Kamoyo beads, but these are the extra large size so that they fit me and my big mitts and wrists a lot better than the regular size. I can also say that the metal collector version is on the heavy side actually. So if I feel like this is working out all right, I might just get the metal the metal extra large and maybe save those for like fancier occasions. We'll see.
I feel like Kamoyo beads would probably be heavy.
Right, but these are, but the glass ones
are
reasonable. Yeah. So
sure.
Wakanda forever. That's why
man, if you had a Black Panther watch to go along with that, that'd have been awesome.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I mean I'm wearing a Superman t-shirt tonight. I don't have my Black Panther t-shirt on. So
that's fine. It's black, it works out. I'm basically you see this.
Oh, nice.
So for those not watching the video, it's Ryu from Street Fighter doing a Hadouken with a fidget spinner. But for before we wrap up, I also want to say that I am at in Charlotte, North Carolina for Heroes Con. I just want to real quick and say this is the poster that they are showing that they're giving out to people with tickets. It is Spider-Man and Doc Ock. I feel like I've seen another one that was floating around, but I didn't get a copy of it. But this is the one that, like I said, people are getting when they get their tickets.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool looking though. And also, of course, I got my badge and my thing, so I'm ready to go. And of course, the the little booklet which I'll be going through, so I can go check out and see what panels I'm going to be going through. I'm going to be going to, and that's it. If you see me, say hi. But I'm skittish. I'm shy. So be nice. That's all I'm saying.
It's too bad I'm not going to be able to make it to yet again another con that Roddy's going to.
Yeah, hopefully you'll get over here sometime.
It's a tough weekend, man. So hopefully we can find a place in between, like one of the DC cons or something.
True.
But I also wanted to shout out, I believe her, Allison Semino, the lady who's behind Rock Love Jewelry. I had actually written to her requesting an extra large size for the Kamoyo beads, and lo and behold, a couple of months later.
Nice.
Yep.
So I must have had a nice demand for. I want to get me a set so badly, but that'll all in due time.
Right, and like I was about to say, the black glass bead ones are on the cheaper side, so they're definitely worth it. And she actually remembered, I wrote to her saying, I wrote to you asking for this, and now you were producing it. This is awesome. She's like, hello again, in the returning email. So
right,
so it's pretty cool. So shout out to her, and shout out to this week's Thor #1. Our music, our playout music for tonight is inspired by a line, a scene from Thor #1 that I know Jason and Aaron must have been inspired by, a particular Jay-Z song. So we'll just wrap up with our usual plugs. Make sure.
So with I saw about to get
you go ahead, because I did the intro.
Right. So with that, thank you for coming out to this here Comic Book Chronicles. We started a little bit late if you were looking for the video, but if you were looking for the audio, you would know that. So disregard anything I just said on that. You can find Agent_70 at Agent_70 on Twitter. You can also find him on Instagram at Agent_70. Go check out his stuff. PCN_Dirt. You can check him out at PCN_Dirt on Twitter. Pop Culture Net on Twitter. PopCultureNetwork.com. INeedComics.com, and I think that's it, because I don't know if he's doing that other stuff he used to be doing, and or at least not right now. Apparently, he's cooking up some stuff. But TimDog98 on Twitter, you can go check him out there. You can also check him out on KLIQ Nation, CBR, where he's writing good stuff out there. You can also check him out on TB Cron Twitter account and theklicknation.com. We still need to be trying to get some of the past shows up on that site. Hopefully we will do that. You can also find myself, Roddycat, at Roddycat on Twitter. You can also find me at News Nerds Need on Twitter. You can also find my Reddit, News Nerds Need, out there. I just said that, but the Reddit of News Nerds Need is out there. So you can go to that and check it out. You can also find me on Instagram at CBCaps, where I throw out some nice panels which I've been slacking on for the last couple of weeks, that I find appealing and amusing. And you can go check us out. You can check out this podcast, however, on theklicknation.com, but you can also subscribe to us on Google Play and Apple Music, aka iTunes. I'm gonna never stop calling it iTunes. You will bury me saying iTunes, because I don't care about the place. Either way, you can also find us on SoundCloud under the Cold Slither banner. And I'm sure there are other places out there you can subscribe to us, and hopefully they are legit. I think we're on iHeartRadio. I still need to find that out, actually. But you can also find us in where this and other fine programs can be found. Go check it out. And while you're doing that, you should go to shop.cspn.us to go there, click a link, get some merch, help us out. CSPN trying to continue to do some things, as we shall do. And with this, without further ado, we shall leave for the night. We'll see you all next week.
And I'm in charge of all the video and music, so here we go.
So this ought to be fun. So with that, this has been the Comic Chronicles, and we are out.
It's coming.
this rumor that you are